The challenges definitely were changing the long-standing practices of the teachers. They were using a model of one size fits all, everyone was doing the same thing.
Teachers understood that something had to change in order to make literacy a priority. So we did adopt an approach to fit our school. It's not an approach that we followed, exactly how it was written. It was something that had to fit the needs of our school, the needs of our teachers, and ultimately the needs of our students. We also made sure that we had, I was working in classrooms or doing literacy walks during that literacy time, just to maintain that connectedness between what I was doing and what was happening in classrooms and what teachers were also talking about.
We had already begun a culture at our school where if you keep doing what you're doing, you're always going to get the same outcome. So it was changing those long-standing practices and just breaking through that fear that teachers had about change, and making them feel comfortable that it's okay, that if we fail, we learn from it, and that you would be supported in your learning, and through the challenges you will always be supported. That was the biggest challenge, was how do we get teachers to let go of those long-standing practices and just moving out of their comfort zone and taking those risks. They were so entrenched in a model of one size fits all, busy kind of work. And we knew that if we were taking on, personalised learning and differentiated learning, well, what was happening in literacy just did not fit that model.
In planning, it's been a real pleasure to hear the teachers talking about reading as in a broader scope as opposed to just looking at the running records. They're now talking about the importance of preparing the children before they start reading by looking at the vocabulary in the text. Or they're starting to talk now about the 3 cueing systems as opposed to solely relying on sounding out words. So it was pleasing to hear one of the teachers say that we are slowing things down and becoming more focused. So there's been that real shift in teacher practice and thinking. It's not a matter of just getting the task done, but more on how will this impact on my teaching and my planning for the particular students that I'm teaching. So I think in summary, planning has really changed, and it's more student driven, based on the actual data, and we've been spending time scaffolding the children as opposed to just moving on really quickly and getting the tasks done. Part of my role was to focus on teacher development, and the teachers now are doing their running records, and not because it's actually scheduled into the assessment schedule for twice a term and it's part of, this is what I have to do, but more now they see the need of completing running records to inform and drive their planning. They see a real need and a purpose in completing their running records to drive their teaching. The teachers really displayed an open mindset throughout this process, and they also realised the importance of having explicit instruction when working with their small groups, and that explicit instruction came from their actual data. So there was no learning that was left to chance. It was the data that actually drove their teaching. So because of the big focus on teacher development, we've noticed that the teachers are able to give immediate feedback to their students, and that's quite clear and explicit.